Hello everyone, and welcome back to Age of Noob. Today, we're going to be doing something different and answering a question from another fellow Age of Empires 4 content creator, Aussie Drongo. For context, let's quickly watch his question from one of his recent videos first.
That's a 3 from 4, 75% hit rate. That's not bad actually. 75% hit rate on the 2x2 buildings. They've got a 100% hit rate on anything bigger. 80%, baby. That's not terrible. 80%. I want to check that. Yo, Age of Noob, I don't know if you're watching this or if you're watching this video at all, but if you are, can you test the Trebuchet accuracy rates on buildings that are 2x2? So a house, mining camp, outpost, all that. I want to see what it is, because I reckon it's probably like around 75 to 80%.
Alright, although Drongo asked about the accuracy for 2x2 buildings specifically, I'm going to cover accuracy across the board instead to cover the topic more comprehensively. So without further ado, let's dive right in. Okay, going into this, I first had to answer two questions before diving into the testing. Does the shot range affect accuracy at all? And is there any difference between the traction Trebuchet and the counterweight Trebuchet? Let's start with the first question. After testing hundreds of Trebuchet shots across different ranges including the maximum and the minimum range, there seems to be no impact whatsoever on the spread of the shots at all. Hence, regardless of how far your Trebuchet is unpacked, as long as it is able to shoot its target, its accuracy is not impacted. The answer to the second question is also no. Although the counterweight Trebuchet has 2 less range than its traction cousin, both of them have the same spread. Hence, since both distance from target and type of Trebuchet does not impact accuracy, this makes our analysis much easier. Alright, let's look at the spread of the shots next. I instructed a Trebuchet to shoot exactly in the intersection of 4 tiles to perfectly center its accuracy, and measure how far off each shot landed one by one. After measuring hundreds of shots, I concluded that the Trebuchet's inaccuracy is never any farther from one full tile, and sometimes it does hit bullseye. Hence, the minimum variance from its target is indeed 0 tile, and the maximum is 1 full tile. That said, the average distance from the target is actually 0.41 tile. So although you might be unlucky with a few wild shots that land a full tile off target, most of your shots will actually land within closer than half a tile, which is actually pretty good given its distance. Okay, so those are all theoretical numbers. How does this translate to actually dealing damage to enemy units and buildings? If the maximum spread is indeed 1 full tile and the Trebuchet aims at the center of a 2x2 building, how on earth is it sometimes missed then? Well, there's an important mechanic we need to discuss, and it's the fact that 2x2 buildings actually have a smaller structure than the blueprints they cover. In other words, even though you cannot build on top of the borders of the 2x2 building, this small space is actually traversable by units in the game, and it does not count as the building itself. Hence, when a Trebuchet boulder lands in these spots, it has a chance of not dealing damage. Notice that I use the word chance, as the hitbox of the building is also not that clear. Some clear misses still end up dealing damage, and I couldn't figure out a trend. It's just an invisible hitbox that registers sometimes. I also tried this with a house instead to ensure that it's not just an outpost thing, and I observed the same phenomenon. Some boulders landed on the dirt just next to the house and still dealt damage. So, given that we know the theoretical numbers and the damage mechanics now, let's answer Drongo's original question. What is the accuracy of Trebuchets against 2x2 buildings? Well, it turns out that it's actually about 90% accurate, so you have to be really unlucky to miss some shots in a practical game. I've tested this over hundreds of shots, and only roughly 1 out of 10 shots missed. That said, I do recall that it did miss twice in a row during testing at some point, so if you are one unlucky bastard, you could be shooting bricks in important moments. Out of curiosity, I tested the same thing against unpacked mangonels, which are roughly 1 tile long, and the Trebuchet's accuracy dropped to 50%. Do that again against the horseman, which is roughly a quarter of a tile long, and the accuracy drops again to roughly 30%. To summarize, the accuracy of the Trebuchets against anything larger than 2x2 tiles is 100%. Its accuracy against a full 2x2 target is also actually 100% because it cannot fling a boulder farther than 1 tile away from the center of the intended target. However, since houses and outposts are built on 2x2 tiles but actually cover about 90% of those 4 tiles, this introduces a 10% inaccuracy for those few wild shots that do land on the extreme side of the variance. As mentioned before though, your shots should land closer to within half a tile most of the time, so be sure to pray to RNGesus before you start your game. Well, that's all you need to know about Trebuchet shot accuracy in Age of Empires 4. If you have other interesting questions that you'd like to have explored, do let me know in the comments below and subscribe to not miss out. As always, thanks for watching everyone, do your best to hurl 90 kilograms over 300 meters accurately, and see you all in the next one.